Hi Senthil, how are you?
Good, Jayanthra. Very good.
It's great to have you today with us for this
Absolute fun. Pleasure
session.
for me too, yes.
So maybe you could share a brief about your company and your role in the company?
Yeah, myself Senthil Natarajan, we run the business Kovai, Pazhamudir Nilayam. We are in the business of fresh produce retailing. So retailing fruits, vegetables, and now we have become a lot more. We have become a full-fledged supermarket. Okay. So by profession, I did my graduation in software engineering, then diverted back into fruit and vegetable industry. This is my family business, but now we are taking it to the next level. We are trying to expand in more cities and trying to become a full-fledged chain of supermarkets.
It's awesome. I think I understand you're touching close to 50 stores now, if I'm right.
Absolutely. We have 55 now and we are operating across 7 cities.
Tell me, moving from say software engineering from PhD and then going into the family business of food retailing, what's exciting for you in your business?
Like I said, there are a couple of exciting things about our business. One thing that is we are directly in a business that impacts health of people. So fruit and vegetable consumption. So one very interesting statistics that we had from India was in whole of India, Tamil Nadu is the state that has the highest per capita fruit and vegetable consumption. Wow. So that directly is because of the availability of fruits and vegetables. If there is more availability of fruits and vegetables, generally the consumption is higher. So that way we feel that we are in a business that's very responsible towards the society also. We have responsibility of where we can make an impact on health of people. So that gives a pleasure about expanding our business to new territories where we feel once we expand we have people coming and saying we are consuming a lot more fruits than we always used to. So that gives a very big happiness to us. The second thing that is a big impact is it's a very interesting business in terms of being the high perishability nature. So we are always running against time. So you have to be very timely. To a lot of people I say them, don't consider ourselves to be a fruit and vegetable retailer. Consider ourselves as a time business. If we are making fruits and vegetables available at 7 a.m. in the morning, people do go buy it and then cook it, and at 8 a.m. they are getting their breakfast ready, and if that 7 a.m. goes to 8 a.m. that whole possibility goes off. So we have to be on our toes. Logistics plays a very critical role. So that way these are two exciting things about doing the business every day. You're always ensuring that everything is happening on time, and then you're always thinking on what new things you can bring in that can impact health of people. So there is world of opportunities now. The whole world has opened up. So
I think it's great to see that the focus is not just on food retailing, but there's a hidden value to the customer, that it's the health. Yes. And I'm so glad to hear it, because today we all want our children not to grow up on sugar, but on fruits and vegetables. So but coming to the business itself, when it's fruits and vegetables and you rightly said it's perishable, I'm sure you have a lot of challenges and you have a lot of issues. What kind of framework as an entrepreneur do you use to deal with challenges and issues that do come up in your business?
Challenges we face every day. Challenges are, I always felt the times of adversity, brings the best out of an entrepreneur. So we keep facing challenges one of the things that we try to do as a business is not settle for whatever we are used to doing last 5 decades. We try to do something new, what we can give new to people. So today's world, there are new fruits that are coming up. It's there are new fusion of fruits that are coming up in the Western world, and with different health benefits. So take berries for example, take cherries, kiwis, and different varieties of grapes that are not grown in India. Today people are not constrained to a particular season or seasonality. So when we want to bring these products into India, every time it's a new challenge, because we are one of the very first people to have brought kiwis into India. We are one of the first people to have brought containers of grapes into India. So whenever we are doing this, one thing that we are very sure is people would welcome it, but we are also running against time. So we are bringing a container of kiwis which has 2 lakh kiwis in a container, and we have 10 days exactly to sell it. So how do you do that? That's a challenge. So every time you face the challenge, then you strategize, you have a marketing plan. for me, when I take a challenge, when I take a thing, like, the most important thing is not like to come out of it in a profitable way, but whether strategically I made something move that is impacting people, like whether I am able to make more people buy a particular new fruit. I think that's the positive out of the challenge for me.
Senthil, one of the interesting things about your organization is the hiring procedures that you adopt. You're almost 2,000 people, but I understand that many of them are started their careers in Pazhamudir, almost as a fresh graduate or as a fresh trainee. Can you talk a little bit more about how do you hire the right people?
One thing that we look for in a hire, that I look for in a new hire, is his attitude towards work. So whether he's having a positive attitude towards work. And I always try to ensure that we hire freshers, because that's for him it is very easy to adapt to a certain culture. I felt that culture is something that is inbred within a person, and it develops as they join an organization and go forward, it develops. So that way, I look for a right person with the right attitude, and then put him in our job and try to make him gather his skills as he moves forward. So we've seen a lot of newcomers who have joined business with very, very less experience, and who have joined with absolutely no education background, just third grade dropout, fourth grade dropouts, and they join business and they learn things. Today I have managers who operate Tally, Excel and all full-fledged, who had absolutely no learning or experience, just their thirst for learning as they move forward in the business. That has kept them, I always ensure they have a scope to learn as they are in the business too. So we try to ensure that there are some training sessions where we let people learn how to operate softwares, how to learn Excel, how to do Tally and stuff like that. So there are people who have this natural thirst for learning. So these people have always ensured they learn and move to the next level. So that way, when we hire people, we ensure they have a couple of things. One, a good attitude towards job, and a thirst for learning.
Wonderful. So. And these are success stories. I mean, people who are joined as a trainee, yes, then moved on to become a cashier, then a manager, then a cluster manager. How do you actually identify and motivate people? How does that work in your organization?
Motivating people is something that I do every day. I want to ensure that people who are in the business are motivated enough. So one thing that I ensure that we do is we try to observe people. One thing that I always felt is like in a business, whenever there are people, there are different kinds of people. So you take 10 people, there are 3 or 4 who I feel are always what I call them champions of change. So whenever I want to do a new initiative, these are the guys who are up for it, even without knowing the real full challenge what we are up to. So they are like, yes sir, we will be able to do this. So these are the guys I try to ensure we identify, and these guys, if you motivate them right, I think they, people actually, what I always felt is when you're a 2,000 people organization, you can't go and preach 2,000 people on how to do things. They follow leaders, and it is for us as entrepreneurs to create leaders. 2,000 people cannot follow, one person. You should have like 20 people or 200 people in your organization whom they can follow. So it is very important to identify these champions of change, speak to them, motivate them, and these people are easy to motivate. These are guys who are up, have a positive attitude towards it. So as a business, I feel that it is very, very important to identify these guys and motivate them.
Awesome. And let's touch upon the same topic of 2,000 people. And these people are spread across 50 to 55 stores across different cities. How do you actually make a consistent employee / company culture? What steps do you actually take towards company culture?
Very importantly, I feel culture is something that forms as a company goes into decades of existence. So a lot of things that is formed as culture in our business, I feel it is formed naturally because how our business has evolved. Right. But certain things that we understand is very, very core and critical to the business. So one such thing I would say is to be fair to people, right, and to be fair to ourselves. When I say ourselves, it's us, the entrepreneur, the business owners, the stakeholders, and our own employees. So we try to ensure that there is fairness in all. So when I say fairness, 5 decades back when my father and his brother started the business, one thing that was not existent in this line of business was fairness. It was a bargain trade. There was no standards in terms of weighing and in terms of pricing and stuff like that. So they brought in a certain amount of fairness and credibility to the business. When people wanted to buy from Kovai, Pazhamudir Nilayam, they know that the prices will be fair. One very interesting example I want to state here is like when we started our outlet in Harrington Road, like almost 10 years back, midday, midway through the day, we realized that we have not even put any price tags on any of the fruits, vegetables or any products. And we had like 500 customers walking in, almost there is a couple of lakhs of business that has already happened. So we were like very surprised, how come people, none of them asked us about, why there is no price tags and nothing like that. Then we realized that's the kind of confidence and faith people have in us. And that is something that prompts us even today, like, we need to be extremely fair. So we, even if we have a situation where, we lose something in the business, we feel it is okay, but never compromise on the culture. So I feel culture is extremely important.
Awesome. As the saying goes that culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Absolutely.
So talking about culture of the organization, the employees and how you interface with your customers with trust. Your company has been now 5 decades in the making, started by your father and brothers, and now you're the second generation, yourself and your cousins are involved in the business. How does the culture permeate within the family business, especially because if you take a country like India and most other countries are representative, more than 80% of the businesses are family owned or family operated. So, but they don't really transit successfully to a second generation and very few transit to a third generation. Is there something you can share about what makes your family business tick?